Today's Saturday, no? Sunday. Sorry, Sunday.
Oh, happy Sunday, everybody. I was talking with it myself muted. Boy, I haven't done that in a while. That was fun. Anyway, I have my friend Kevon here, and there he is. I'm going to get off of our faces for just a minute though, so that I can go get the live chat popped out. So, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm phenomenal. Feeling good.
Well, you look good for being up all night.
Yeah, I mean, I got like a good 4 or 5. That's pretty decent for me.
4 or 5 hours of sleep.
Yeah, it's regular stuff.
Well, I
Uh,
should turn your sound up. I think there we go. Okay. Well, okay. So first of all, don't worry because it's not like a bunch of people are jumping on live anyway. We're 5 minutes late to start, but that's okay because
it's always my fault. Sorry.
no, but you know what's been happening to me is my YouTube channel's been getting purged of subs, like over 100, just in the
Oh
last
God.
week. And I think that causes notifications not to go out, but I could be wrong. It could just be that nobody wants to watch me anymore. What do you think?
No, no. I absolutely do not believe that. It's certainly something's going on. Um, I've noticed that on YouTube, and especially this week, I've been hearing like a lot of like about like high profile arrests, the good stuff,
Oh,
right?
let's
And
hope.
and, and there's always a pattern. Like my friends who like speak on not even like necessarily like Trump supporters, but like they're super like into the deep conspiracy stuff. They're getting purged off of like Twitter and Facebook. And I was actually on YouTube and I subscribe to people. Like show support in that way. I'm very interactive. And there's a few pages or a few profiles. Like I'll be on a video and YouTube, if I'm on widescreen, they won't allow me to like scroll down like smoothly. It'll just jump down to the
Hmm.
comments or the videos. Video comment. It won't let me like. It's just cheesy stuff. Like I know it's like those little niche things that they're trying to like. I don't know how to really uh, articulate it, but I know it's to like throw us off our game, and it
Probably.
happens a little bit too timely, for it to just be a coincidence. You know what I mean?
Yes, and well, Rockman says 30 to 40% drop in engagement in many channels I follow, and I can watch it happen. It happens. They just start purging these huge amounts of subs, and it's like, oh, you've lost, and it'll be going up, 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 and then I'll suddenly 100
Just
subs
die.
gone in a week or even less sometimes. So I,
It's
I
just so obvious to me, though. It's
yeah,
just like,
I'd like
you
to
know,
say if you've been unsubbed, click the subscribe, but if you've been unsubbed, you don't know. I think most people don't even know, and they kind of forget,
exactly,
so they're not here
exactly.
anyway. Well, Brenda is ahead of me on the congrats to you for the membership win for 7K
Awesome.
medals.
Thank you,
And
man.
I want to say congrats to you too because I've been wanting to get you to join up and you've been like, not yet. And then I wanted to get you to sign up on the membership raffle and you're like, I don't know. And then you finally did and you won on the spot you picked, on the
Yeah,
one spot that you
I
picked. So
I willed it in.
how'd that make you feel?
Well, first of all, I'm super excited because I knew that it was just a matter of time. It was just like about like just getting myself scheduled. I've been like traveling a lot, and my head's just been all over it. And along that course, like I've been talking to a lot of people about investing, and I've met a lot of. I mean, I've met a couple billionaires and stuff like that, and they're all in on like tangible value, like not just paperwork and stuff. So of course, I had this in mind, and I'm not again like super I would say actually I'm very superstitious maybe, and I'm a firm believer in the power of attracting or manifesting what you want. Like if you really just met, I think we all do it where if you're nervous or if you're frustrated, you will bring things to
Oh, yeah.
literally double down. And you hit me up and I was like, I'll do it. There was a hesitation at first, but then boom, and I'm just like, I did it again, and I'm very excited because I want to be able to like have bring more to the conversation when I speak to people, like more than just, hey, you should, get into this stuff. You should, invest in hard, precious metals, but yeah, I'm just really grateful, super grateful. It came at a pretty opportune time too. So
Right, and well, good because there's several people that are involved in this business that are on the chat, like Rockman and Brenda, and I don't know who else is here. Not many people are chatting, but me. So obviously there's me, and then Doc Michael is usually here, but I don't see him, and he's part of the
yeah,
business.
it
And so
usually is. Yeah,
yeah, so he'll probably come in later. But my Discord channel is now filled with a lot of people that have either part of the business or getting in on the raffles that I do. So they're getting gold and silver in their hands. So that means when you have gold and silver in your hands, you're actually now wealthier than 98% of America because only 2% of people, only 2%, I mean, maybe it's 3% now because this business is getting big, but a
yeah,
very small percentage of people are actually buying physical gold and silver, physical.
yeah, yeah. And that's a major thing. Like we spoke about this before. Like I told you before, I have a friend. He's like, whenever it gets cheap, I just can't help but buy it. And I never really thought
Right.
to ask him, but I don't know if it's like, what we said, like paper gold, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like, or if it's like actual hard, you know, substance. So, I think that's very important to, start
Sorry,
being
I'm
like,
probably breathing into this
it's okay.
microphone. I
Yeah.
can't tell sometimes how close it is. I'm gonna show you. Well, I think you can see when I do this. You can see
Yeah.
my screen, right?
It's coming up. It's buffering. Oh, I
Okay.
see it. Yeah. There we go.
So for someone like that might be buying paper, they might like their Sound Money wallet because it is digital, but they are putting physical gold and silver in a vault. They are physically taking this amount. So I put this much in. They have to put that in fractionals to some extent. I mean, they're not putting in a fractional the size of a BB in there, but in fractionals, they are putting in that silver into a vault that is audited by Lloyd's of London, which I'm not really familiar with that company, but I will be one of these days. Obviously, it matters to them because they make a point of telling us. And then it's also armed, securely armed. So if he is buying like paper ETFs or gold and silver, however, or if he stocks or whatever, he might like this because it's still digital and it can be moved around
Right.
quickly. But if he wanted it physical, you could say you go to this transfer deal and it makes me plug in a code. But one of the options it gives you is send me my physical silver.
Okay.
I'm going to just show you real quick. But that so it's
That's pretty
digital.
cool.
It's digital until you want it. So what I can do is I can transfer it to cash. I'm going to go back in. Transfer, like I could transfer my silver. I can transfer it to cash. I can transfer it to gold. I can send it to another member, which would be you now. Like if I owed you money or something, I could send it to you, or I say mail it to me, and then they
Okay.
mail it to you. So
Okay.
that's it. Just is it's a quick back and forth, easy. He might like something like that. So for people who don't have a lot of room or like digital things, or they don't have a safe place to store, or they just want to get their money out of the bank, this is the place to do it. And now you get to be a part of that and learn how to use it so that you can show other people.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
not hard.
Fascinating. It's not. That's actually very convenient.
But there's also the physical stuff too. So you can
Of
go in
course.
here and buy all these physical. And by the way, this White House is burning coin. There's still some left, guys. If you remember and you haven't bought these, consider doing so because there's only 1,600 of them. And while it's very pricey, the last ones that he did are selling at about twice what we bought them for. So that's, I mean, if you can get it at twice what you bought it for, that's not a bad deal. So anyway, I want you to tell us you're spinning around. Woo! It's like a roller
Yeah.
coaster.
Yeah, I had to do the whole like side view thing to make it easier for me to see stuff.
Oh, okay.
But
Well, if you need to do that, that's fine. We don't mind spinning
oh
around.
no, it's all good. This is good now.
I was wondering if you would tell us. I just have to jump up and do one thing, but I can hear. And
Okay.
so would you tell us what you're kind of planning with your girlfriend and the YouTube channel that's coming up? And I can still hear, guys. I'm still here. I'll be right back. I'm cooking some dinner, so I'm
So
here.
hi guys. Essentially, through this journey over the past couple of years, um, my girlfriend and I, we've kind of just been like, like figuring out like that this world is way beyond what we've ever even imagined, and essentially where we've like our demographic where we were raised in Queens, like it's not really common for that conversation to be like, just like the thing. So there's been like a lot of like backlash whenever we are vocal on a lot of the things that we observe politically, particularly socially. And we just decided to start talking about it with the world and sharing our experiences and our observations with the world. And I think there's a pretty huge market for it, right? Like, I mean, I think there's, to hear that, okay, even now it's still kind of like taboo, like, oh, Black Trump supporter, like even to this day, or I don't even, the whole label thing gets me kind of like weird. I'm a Trump observer, because I'm so open minded. Things change, things evolve. I'm all in on, this America first, America ahead, America, prosperous movement. And, I'm firm on him leading that charge. And, you know, if you just come out and say that, like, again, like our demographic, that it's not entirely welcoming. But nonetheless, if we do talk about it and bring exposure that this is a real thing for a lot of people who are still like completely asleep, in certain pockets of America still, like, I think that'll do a lot for a lot of healing and, being able to start that conversation. In fact, if I may, is a situation that I had yesterday. And, because I'm so passionate about this stuff, I think it really comes down to just like our feelings, right? I think it really comes down to feelings and how we receive things, right? And last night, I spoke to some friends and I had a friend say, like, seriously, how many people stop messing around? Because we knew each other. We haven't seen each other for like 10 years. And he's like, how many people? Because we know a lot of the same people. He's like, how many of them like just stop messing around with you because of Trump?
Hmm.
And I'm like, I can't even tell you how much, but I can tell you that most of them, whoever fell out, and this a lot of people, came around, and they'll never want you to know that. They're very like, I mean, they're so private about hitting me up on the side. And I had another friend that was around, one of my favorite human beings in the whole entire galaxy. And he said, I'm not gonna lie to you, like I came around a little bit, and which made my night because we would go back and forth all the time about this political stuff. But it's always a conversation between um like practicality, like technicality, fact, black and white. And yeah, but I don't like how that makes me feel, right? So when I talk about these things, I think it really just comes down to like removing that standard of, oh, but he's the president. Like that just ignites a fire, but it's never out of like, it's always out of jest. Like I'm a very passionate, fiery person, but it's always out of jest. Like I just literally don't care about anything. Like I don't take anything too serious ever. I love to be accommodating to people. So when things got intense, he was like, calm down. And I immediately just said, yo, I'm sorry. I didn't apologize for what I said, technically for even how I said it. It was just really like I'm sorry that that offended you. Like I'm sorry that like I'm getting so intense that it bothers you. And he took issue with it. Like even like I mean 5 minutes after that, he pulls me to the side and he's like, I'm at a place where I just don't like allow people to talk to me any which way. And I'm like, dude, everyone around like chuckled when I made my remark. I was like, so essentially what the trigger point was yeah, but he's the president. He should be nicer. And I'm like, dude, like you are you. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're like you can be president 10 years from now. You can be, I mean, you're to me in my eyes one of the most amazing people in the world. So forget the title. If you're gonna put that, you're essentially putting that man at a higher pedestal than you. And yes, we respect the office. Yeah, we respect certain level and honor certain levels of authority. But guys, like he's a human being and he's doing a job and we should be supportive of each other, and that's it. And I get passionate about that because and I noticed this in over 90% of the interactions that I have that with people who are vehemently against, this movement. I'm like, particularly because of Trump. And I'm like, look, forget the title. Forget the king, forget who it is. Like, we're all in this together. It's good versus evil, right? And I get passionate about that when we put those blinders on, or we let things throw us off from what really truly matters. And I get passionate about that, and people sometimes they take it as, oh my god, like he's like climbing over me. Well, no, it's just like, I'm, if anything, I'm getting under you and I'm lifting you up to see what's really going on. So again, just being able to like have that platform, particularly with my girlfriend, she's like more sweet and soft spoken, so like it's like a perfect balance. But like bringing that to the forefront so that by the time we do have those conversations, people don't take it as, oh my god, he's getting all like passionate again because I don't know, I said something slightly off about Trump. And it's like, no, it's not about that. It's about removing that, oh my god, my feelings, oh, like freak, come on, like, you know what I mean? So anyway, that's really the gist of where I'm headed for 2021 to start.
Sounds like you two will be a good balance because
Yeah,
that
definitely.
that passionate word is the word I would prefer what people would use for me when they think I'm getting angry.
Yeah,
They think I'm
yeah,
angry, and I'm like, no,
yeah,
no, like
yeah,
I really feel a strong way about this certain thing, and I talk
yeah,
fast. My
yeah.
voice probably like gets a little higher pitched because I talk fast, but I talk fast anyway. I was just thinking earlier, I was doing a video and I was talking so fast. I'm like, they probably thought I had like 3 cups of coffee, just, and I didn't even have any coffee. I didn't have coffee until just later this afternoon. These are pretty
Yeah.
good, by the way. I know I don't work for Starbucks. Sorry.
Oh,
The
I love
symbolism.
it.
Someone's gonna
I
get mad
think,
about the symbolism.
yeah, yeah. Oh God. Oh God.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I didn't drink coffee till later, but I'm just a fast talker. I I get excited, and especially if it's something I know about, then I talk a little even faster, and I get passionate about it. And people are like, "Whoa, like don't calm down." And I'm like, "Well, I'm actually calm. I'm just excited about
Yeah.
this subject."
Excited. That's it.
And I like
That's it.
people like I'll go on with Zen Garcia, and Zen Garcia does not speak fast, and he doesn't speak terribly slow. It's not like but he just takes his time. He thinks, right? He's probably thinks before he speaks a little bit more than I do. So maybe
Yeah.
I don't know if you're saying that's what your girlfriend will be kind of like a good balance for you in that way, maybe.
For sure. For sure. She's very like deliberate. Like, and she gets a little like shy, like when she feels like she's onto something. Like when she's right over the target, she's like, oh my God, I think this is a really, I don't want to screw this up. Okay. And then she'll like breathe. And I'm like, go ahead. And that's when I'll just sometimes just jump
Yeah.
right in and I'm just like
Don't
firing her
take a
up.
breath because we will jump in
Yeah.
on. If you take a
Yeah.
breath,
Yeah. Yeah.
we start
You take
talking.
a breath. Yeah. That's my window. Like you know,
Totally.
because it matters, right? Like if we're not able to really talk about the nitty gritty, the ugly, the super sensitive, like we'll never be able to advance. And we speak about it a lot. Like, and it's funny because right after, it was actually a video shoot that I had for another friend, and after that I went to meet up with some other friends that I've been like, I actually had just met one of them. He introduced me to the rest of them, and I just noticed that the whole night, like I was just going on and on and on. A lot of it was actually ironically responsive to a lot of other things, but I was just like going, and then I actually like kind of apologized at some point, right? And they were like, "No, what are you apologizing for?" Like, oh, and I felt like I
That's
was at
nice.
home. I felt like I was at home. Like I was just my intense, genuine self, and they were all about it. So, and timing is beautiful. Timing is amazing because I'm not gonna lie. After he pulled me to the side, I was just kind of like really super in my head, like maybe something like maybe I really need to change my approach, and that's not me. But because he's like,
Right.
I mean, we've been friends for over a decade, making music together, like really talking about the most, I mean, intense, sensitive things ever. And then, the phenomena happens in 2016 and then everything changed. Like being able to be around people who, even when I completely disagreed with them and they completely disagreed with me, it never got beyond that jest. When it was super intense, it never got beyond jest. And what I mean by that is like people, they would literally laugh off the things that they like completely disagreed with,
Right.
but not in a disrespectful way. They actually responded with substance as opposed to saying, ugh, but I just don't like how that made me feel. I just,
Yeah.
it was more of like, okay, I understand that what you're saying is coming from it's important to you. That's it. and it was very transparent. Like you can just read people, and you see a clear difference. And I always say it's not Democrat versus Republican, Trump supporter versus uh, secular politician supporter. It's like just literally like good and evil, or and I always chalk it up to common sense versus, because I truly believe common sense is a spiritual, God-given superpower, and we've been deceived out of that. Like we've been really, our will has been sucked out of us, and like we don't even. I mean, to the point where you, like, this is my favorite meme right now. It's like, uh, there's a vaccine, or you have to get tested. This thing is so deadly that you got to get tested to find out you have it. It's like, where is that gone? You know, and these people, a lot of the stuff. I mean, flat Earth. You know,
Right.
even the whole 17 thing. Like people are just like, nah, but then they'll give me the substance, and that's what is lacking in a lot of these conversations with people that I chalk up as pretty oversensitive, and not in a way like it's not an insult. Like it, like I've grown up always recognized as a sensitive person, and I owned it, right? But I'm just not. I just don't get triggered and offended by things. Like like this all like it's very responsive to things, but in a very passionate and loving way. Everything I do and say is out of love. And just to wrap this up, there was even a point where I started feeling bad for like apologizing. I'm like, okay, this is not for you, but like for me, like this is like, I mean, not for me, but for you. Like I'm giving you an empty apology. I'm just, how can I apologize for being my true, genuine self?
Yep.
It's not a real, genuine apology.
I was thinking there was something you were saying. Oh, sensitive. I was really triggered and sensitive in the beginning because I was one of those people that when I first, before I even found Q, I was learning about just how bad um, the I was learning about the pedophilia, and I was like, there's something to this. I'm like, there was this rampant pedophilia, and knowing just from being in I majored in psychology, just from knowing like the small percentage of even homosexual people generally before they were reprogramming our brains, but just going off of that percentage, I was like, man, there's a really abundant there's a, like abundance of
Yeah.
pedophilia. Why is that? And I'm trying to learn why that is. And when it finally hit me that they really are trying to get the adrenochrome, because it was the only thing that made sense to me. There must be something, and I would pray for truth, right? But I'm like, there must
Yeah.
be something that it does for them. And then I came across the adrenochrome stuff. I was pissed. I was like, I'm so
Yeah.
mad. And so
Yeah.
I would, people would think I was crazy, and I'd get mad, and I'd like flip out on them on Facebook, and I'd be like, you're obviously, and I did what you shouldn't do, and I just automatically assumed that they're okay with it all just because they didn't want to hear about it, which is what I hate when people do to me. They're like, well, if
Yeah.
you're going to warn us about Trump, then what does that mean you're voting for Biden? And I'm like, nope, that's not at all what it means. But
Yeah.
I was doing that in the beginning. I was triggered, I was sensitive, I was
Yeah.
personally attacking people, and it took this it oh man, even with the gold and silver business, I did that the first year. Just if somebody didn't want to hear it, I was like, well, then you're an idiot. I just could not handle it because I think it's a programming thing. I don't think it's
It is. Yeah.
just I don't think it's just me, my personality. I think I've been programmed to be offended, just like so many people have been programmed to be offended.
Yeah.
And
Oh
so
yeah.
I'm just easily like offended. And I have been praying for that because I've read a great book called, The Bait of Satan, and it talks about offense being the bait of Satan. And that I
Yeah.
was like, oh man, I am so like this. Instead of just letting things go or being forgiving, I'm getting
Yeah.
offended and blaming. And that it's
Hmm.
all victim stuff, all victim.
It
And
is.
I saw it in myself, and I was like, oh, please release me from this. And so, hey, Flatjack's glad you're here. I have gotten a lot better, but oh, so much better. Let's just say it's almost
Yeah.
you probably wouldn't even see it, but it's still in there sometimes where I
Yeah.
have this like desire to have that knee jerk reaction, but I'm able to
Yeah.
calm myself
Yeah.
down.
I mean, to be honest, even with me, like I'm a troll. I'll admit,
Yes, I was a troll
I'm
too.
yeah, I'm a super duper troll. Like, but like, and maybe this is a little rude and mischievous, but like I got into this little back and forth yesterday because there's this post of like wear your mask, I'm tired, and I'm like, yo, just stop, just please shut up. And I love to go in the comments and mess with people who are like, yeah, like they're just proud of their muzzle. So I literally commented under someone's post. It was this cute, sweet little old lady. She had her little puppy and her I guess grandkid with her, and like in the profile picture, and I'm like, "Are you proud of your muzzle?" But I'm joking, right? Like but they wouldn't know that. To
Of
them, it's
course they
just like,
wouldn't.
"Oh my god,
Yeah.
this is the evil Trump supporter," and this is the thing about the internet. But if someone says that to me, right? Even when I respond like just like on full offense mode, like or like a crazy response in general,
Yeah.
like I understand that I will never really know that person's intent, right? Like because if I'm doing it to people and I'm doing it out of a joke, it can be the most vile comment, but it could literally just be like an experiment. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's messed up and it's foul. You're like manipulating people's feelings. But I never like before, like especially with this whole flat Earth stuff, right? Like for some, I got unfriended yesterday on a very civil conversation, and I'll probably tag you in it just so you can see what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
But I
because I'm
literally
out of
asked,
Facebook jail in 4 days, so woo.
awesome, congrats.
Yay.
Um, it literally, she asked me a question. I responded to someone who responded to her, and then a minute after that, she goes, "Oh, so no answer?" And I'm like, "Can I type? Can I read and type a response?" And it goes on for a little bit, and then I ask her, "Do you believe in divine creation or something else?" And then she gets snarky, and then I say, "So no answer?"
Ah.
And then she unfriends me. So it really triggers people immensely. So can you imagine when you're a newborn flat earth or whatever that is, and
I call it a
like
biblical
you're
earther.
biblical earth or what, like you know what I mean? I'm a human being who happens to observe what the heck's around me, right? Like I used to get offended that people were offended, right? I was still wired to be offended, like, and which was so unlike me, right? Because I took this psychology 101. I actually took it twice because I failed it the first time. I
I'm
did
still
really well.
here. I
Both.
have to stir
It's
my
okay.
food, so you keep going.
It's okay. Yeah. I did really well both times. The
Hmm.
first time, I just was not invested into my academics at the time. I was like working two jobs or something like that. And I was just like grinding with my, entertainment, my music and stuff. And everything that I was learning, I'm like, wow, I know this. A lot of this I'm remembering, or this is just kind of like articulating what I already feel I know or understand. And then it was like, okay, I can't really get mad at people anymore, right? Like, because I fully understand where this is coming from. We're all messed up. We're all jacked up in unique
Hmm.
ways. So, like, whatever. But then that conditioning, I mean, like, I observed, like, maybe in my college years, like, especially, and I would say it's the Obama years, right? Where the media, I mean, it was their full time job to condition us to be outraged by every little thing.
Yeah, that's right.
And
Yeah.
yeah, it was very unbecoming of me that I was being offended that other people were offended because I'm like, I always understood that everyone has their reason for something, right? So anyway, in short, um, I've you're absolutely right about being conditioned. Like it's not you're not like in yourself. You're just a passionate, amazing, like truth-driven person. But your response to things had to evolve, right? Because you have to recognize like a lot of these knee-jerk reactions
Yep.
were instilled in me, and we have to just carve it out.
Yes. Yep. Yep. Yep.
You know?
Yep. And I've been prayerful about that, especially like anger. I had anger problems. I've most people know this, but if you don't, my husband passed away in 2013, took his own life. Was really angry about that. And so I spent several years being angry and my reactions being pretty fiery, triggery because of that anger too. So even the offended stuff didn't go away when I finally figured that out because I remember I was in church one day and I was just praying. I had gotten in an argument with my parents and I was praying, Lord, let me forgive them. But before I could say my mom and dad, my husband's name hit me like a sword. That's who I was so angry
Mhm.
with. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I was still so angry with him. So some of that was a traumatic experience, but even when I realized that and started to let that go, there was still this offended. I have something to say and people need to listen to me because I was kind of brought up that
Yeah.
way too. I was brought up like I love that you're such a go-getter, Aaron. I love that you just go and do what you want, and you say what you think, and you don't care what anybody is going to say about that. And that was applauded in my life. That unfortunately was applauded because my foundation was very, very slippery. I had a poor foundation to behave that way. It wasn't like I was going out and speaking the truth of the Lord Jesus Christ. I was just going out and saying, if you don't want to get on board with what I think, then move out
Yeah.
of the way. What was it? It's like
Right.
you can lead, follow, or get out of the way.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I was like, that's how I talked to people and treated people. And I thought that was some kind of strength because it was actually applauded, by my mom, and it was applauded by other people when it worked. But it certainly would cause problems in like the work field or the career path when I chose that, like a medical field. And it it's like I really it was kind of like a rude awakening that you can't just walk around treating everybody like that. So some of that was
Right.
that programming later, like, well, you should listen to me because people should just listen to me. But why? Like
Yeah.
I'm in a world full of millions of people trying to reach out on the internet, YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. Why should I think that people should want to listen to me? And so I had to learn how to give them a reason to want to listen to me.
Yeah.
And I think I've kind of accomplished that because I've got a decent group of people that I
Yeah.
love that come into the chat and come into the Discord. And I tell you what, like, I don't know what I would do without all these people. My life before them was okay, I guess, but it's just when I'm sad
Yeah.
or alone, I'm lonely or just want to talk to somebody, they're there. There's a group
Yeah.
of people I can just jump on and talk to. So now I'm going on, but I I think
Yeah.
that's where some of the offense has lessened because I've learned how to just let it go and wait for people to come to me. My
Right.
kids are back, so there'll be some interruptions. But
That's so
anyway,
good.
and Zepso says, "Sorry to hear about your husband. Thank you. We've we're doing pretty good. We're pretty happy, and I've even gone on a few dates here and there, but nothing solid yet. We'll see. Maybe."
Yeah. Good luck with that. You'll be. I mean, I'm not worried about you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone asked for a link to the Discord, so I'm gonna get off of their faces for just a second. Oh, okay, my kids are. Hey, I'm doing a video. Okay, you got to talk for a second because I'm supposed to close my eyes.
Okay.
I'm trying to share the link. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. I'm going to share this link with everybody.
I
And
always get a kick out of your kids interrupting you. By the way.
oh, good. I'm glad it doesn't upset you. Okay, back to you
No,
for
no.
just a
But
moment. I'll
yeah.
try to. Hold on.
Yeah. No. I just wanted to say hi to people, everyone watching. Um. Uh, like relationships are like to me. I'm probably very high on relationships in relation to like anything physical. You know. Um. So thank you for taking care of her.
Yeah, well, I had to close my eyes because my birthday's on Tuesday. And so
Oh,
they're bringing in a present. I didn't know if they were giving it to me now or bringing it in. So I just had to like do this and so
you know, as you were going on earlier, I was gonna ask you when your birthday was. I know I'm pretty sure I asked you like 10 times already. I ask everyone like
two
over and over,
days.
but 2 days.
So I'll
Wow.
be 42.
Mm. So you're a Sag,
Yes,
fire,
I
fire.
am.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, while I don't buy into astrology exactly, there's
Hmm.
certainly a lot of characteristics that would speak the passion and the fiery personality and all that stuff. It's just honing
Yeah.
that skill of being a passionate, fiery person and not just exploding on everybody.
Yeah. And, you know, I'm all in on this stuff. Like my moon sign is actually in Aries, which is like essentially completely opposite from Pisces. Pisces is like the last sign, and then Aries is the first. And then Aries is fire, Pisces is water. And I promise you, like on the surface, people like I'm a very deep, passionate, emotional, artsy person. And then like there's like that fire, right? Obviously, that like super like rah,
Right.
but it's always like that balance, and then there's like all these other placements and stuff that like just make perfect sense for because when I started diving into it and actually understanding the different layers and the stipulations, I was like, okay, this, and then I linked it to flat earth. Like I mean, I was, and that's honestly, if anything, what kind of like like sanctioned my relationship with flat earth long term, like super passionately, because like the constellation, right? Like that's the main thing for me. If 1,000 years ago and 1,000 years into the future on this specific day, December 6th or 7th, I don't know, 6th, like it's the same exact constellation in the sky,
Right.
then
Exactly.
we can track that. And then there's a story. And then like even some of the stories in the Bible, like it's just to me, like whatever.
Yep.
But it makes sense, right? Like a lot of people would never in a million years if I were to tell them like, yeah, people think that I'm like in kind of a you know I was gonna use a profane word, I'm trying to pivot, but a butthole, right? um People like some people like, what, you, oh my God. And these are people that I probably know for a couple few years or whatever. And then there's people that I've known for like, I mean, a range of 10 years to 10 months. And like it just depends on how each individual's wired. Like I said before, it's all about reception. All about reception, how you receive what someone said to you. But what matters to me is the intent. If you understand that someone did not intend to hurt you, like just deliberately just come out and just hurt you, then I think that you would lead a much more relaxed, um, understanding, tranquil life. Because I think for the most part, with the exception of like, green blood sucking, baby eating beings, we all want peace. We just all want the same thing. We just want, whether it's peace for ourselves, even if, that peace is harming ourselves in that moment, like everyone just wants peace. And like, I think inherently, I don't think that we just want to just hurt each other. I passionately don't. And there's that saying, hurt people. There are some um, super exceptions there. But, for the most part, just understanding like if someone says or does something to you, like they're hurting, right? Like there's something going on with them, and you just kind of just get moved past it. And look, when I say I do everything out of love, even if that's like beating you up or slashing your neck open, like out of defense, like that's to teach you a lesson. Like that's to bring you back to your goodly godly self. You know what I mean? So if someone's like my friend is speaking to me what I consider nonsense, like if I didn't care about you, I'd just walk away, right? I would just literally, okay, dude, all right, cool. I hope that you, and this is my favorite saying, I hope that you come around to being maybe more open, or if you're completely convicted in this, hopefully this doesn't lead to like harming anyone or yourself in any way. Maybe I'm not that elaborate, but you know, cool. Like we'll move on. But if it's my friend, I'm like, yo, dude, no, like, come on. Like this isn't a spectrum. It's black or white here. And I'm telling you that you can literally confirm this here, right? Instead of you speaking on it or being so adamant about it, and ultimately harm yourself, whether it's through disappointment or just delusion, like research, like read. This is our obligation as humans here. Like we're not designed to just float through this world. Like just wake up and live for tonight. We're here to live for greatness. I mean, like positioning ourselves to live a really fulfilling, loving, beautiful life for ourselves and each other, our children, our children's friends, their children. You know, like we're bots now. We're bots for for a respectable margin. And I'm very passionate about like excuse me, snapping people out of
Just
that.
show burps. It happens. The show
No,
burps.
no. It was actually like a glob of spit
Oh,
like
I
that.
get
Trying
I
to
get show
sleep
burps.
in it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get those too. Yeah. But that's just kind of like, okay, you're onto something, but slow down. Like for the
Yeah, right.
anyway. Um, but yeah, passion, man. We should. I don't think we should apologize for it.
No, I made a video
Yeah.
called "How many red pills do you wish?" and I made it because I hoped to reach some people even in the truth community that have made these very staunch decisions about what they believe. They're like, I believe this, and yet they haven't done any research on it.
Yeah.
So, for instance, I know I'm telling you guys, I've heard it all before and probably in the chat, but maybe you haven't, maybe I haven't told you. that when I didn't research flat Earth, if anybody asked me about it, all I said is, I don't know. I don't know because I haven't
Yeah.
researched it yet. Or
Yeah.
maybe I never will. So I can't speak on it. So I don't really have an opinion one way or the other. But you get these people that are vehemently against hearing your viewpoint and yet they don't research it. Like you just said, do some research, but that's hard to say to people because it triggers them and makes them mad.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Oh, work.
yeah, and I've been told to do my research from QAnon people, and I'm like, I do. So
Yeah.
it gets all sides. It can get kind
Yeah.
of crazy. But the thing about that is, the video I made was, please don't make a decision, a firm decision on something you're not willing to research. Just admit you're not willing to research it and that you can't form an opinion based on the fact that you don't know. Just do that. Like, that's okay. But people don't want to do that. They're like, JFK Jr. is still alive and you can't go against that, or
Yeah.
whatever it is that people
Yeah.
don't want you to argue against them with. And not that I like to argue. I'm okay with debating a little.
Yeah.
But that's another thing, is I can't debate flat Earth because I don't have enough knowledge. I mean, I can say, like you said, I can just observe my surroundings. I can see the Earth is flat.
Yeah.
And I can also say in my research, I've been able to understand the flat earthers and
Yeah.
it made sense to me and it clicked. But I can't debate somebody on it. I don't have a bunch of scripture at
Funny
the
enough.
ready. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. Not to get you. I'm so sorry,
Yeah,
but
that's really all I was saying.
not. It's so yesterday I was talking about flat Earth with this guy, and these are like super tech, super smart, super smart tech guys and whatnot. But even in that world, like I respect scientists because again, I can't. I You can explain it to me for a month or 10 months straight. I will not understand or fathom how we're able to do this right now. You
Like the
you cannot
technology.
technology,
Yeah.
like how you and I are like face to face. You're all the way in Montana. Like
Mhm.
how, right? So I respect that. However, when and I use the word convenient and cultish a lot, like again, the jest, and they respected it. They didn't quite understand it at first, but like, okay, I'm like, okay, you're using a lot of words, right? I can give you math and science and just straight logic. Like if I look over this lake right here and like I'm able to see the landscape over this distance based on what they given us, the measurements that they give, like I don't need a scientist to chaperone me to do this, to evaluate this, right?
Mhm.
So if I'm able to look across the water and I see this, like I know that something's up. So now if you have to do loops and like backflips to explain why I'm able to see that when I know that I can't see around the corner, I can't see around the block, and any like nothing that you can do. Like if you can maybe like create some technology to make it happen. But I'm looking through a very novelty telescope, a very basic telescope, and I'm looking straight ahead. I should be able to see Jupiter right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just common sense. So when people start using like terms and like mechanisms, and then they throw the word gravity in there, and then
Oh yeah,
later on
gravity.
in the conversation, I say, okay, well, gravity, da, da, da. Yeah, well, but we don't know what gravity is. And I'm like, see, again, you use gravity in your whole spiel, which could be legit until you use terms that you can't explain, which is fine. Like that doesn't completely destroy what you're saying. I'm just saying it's too convenient. When we have to go out of our way to describe what, like against what we see, feel, and like, you know what I mean? Like that's cultish to me. That's very dangerous. That's not science. It's pseudoscience. So I
Yep.
think that's very important for us to distinguish. Like it's very, very black or white with things, right?
Yep.
It's just a little bit too convenient that in this science community, there's all these just useful terms and stuff. Like, okay, well, dude, well, can I prove that now? Can like I get that you have the instrument, but like, can I do it? Like, okay, you might be right about it, but I will never know. I have to trust you. If I have to trust you and not my God given ability to like use my common senses, nah, I don't know, bro.
Well,
Sorry.
plus science has become a cultish religion. Is trust science. I mean, I'm so glad I don't watch mainstream media because there's this gal I sub to, and I almost didn't, but I did because she covers the mainstream media stuff and that they say, and I'm like, oh, I cannot believe people are watching this. Where
Yeah, that.
there's like these two people arguing, and this younger kid, he's like on CNN or something, and this kid's like, just put on the mask because it's science. I mean, the words are being said so much that it's science. That this last summer, I stayed with a friend, and she is a total liberal, and she hates Trump to the point that we can't talk about it, which is super sad. But we have lots of other things we can talk about. Interestingly enough, we have a lot in common. But she did the whole thing. It's science, Aaron, and I'm like, they're so good at clamoring on about how it's science and science. And then, they talk about all the deaths and they make it sound so scary. And there's some lady who supposedly died at age 33 and she was pregnant and died in childbirth. And, 33 million people are testing positive and 33 people got tickets for not wearing masks. And it's just if only people knew, but they think we are nut jobs for pointing that out. And I'm like, why do they use 33 so much? Because it's the Illuminati dog whistle. Whatever they're saying to each other in that is either saying it didn't really happen or there's something else to this. And why always 33? Always a 33-year-old. Of course, I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
Just to interject real quick, even with like how fast to go back to flat Earth real quick, how fast the Earth revolves around the sun is 66,600 in the official science community. And it's funny because people will talk you down about the Earth being a ball. But when you mention, yeah, the sun is bursting through space, they don't even know that. They don't even know that that's what the narrative is. So it's literally, and people say, well, what does it matter? I'm like, well, it depends on I believe it's control, like straight up, like, and hiding God, right? But if I can convince you that the earth is a ball and that goes completely against your senses, I can get you to believe anything. Like, I can literally use terms and numbers, throw it in your face, all the Luciferian innuendos, and you won't even pick up on it. You're just so used to it, even with the sun being 93 million miles away.
Which it didn't used to be
You
that
know,
far away. It was closer before.
exactly, much closer. It was like, okay, well, you get the nine. I mean, we can kind of like maybe reach a little bit, but then there's the nine, which is the upside down six, and then the three. Like, it's just too convenient,
Yeah.
just way too. So I don't know. I mean, uh,
Well, okay, so there, if you go to a Bible pastor, like a biblical, like a pastor, go to a church, go to a pastor that seems to know a lot of scripture, and if you ask them, where does it say in the Bible that the Earth is spinning? It's 666,000 miles per hour, or whatever. And where does it show that it's an ever-expanding universe? And they can't tell you. I mean,
yeah,
there's some scripture that might speak of a universe or the heavens, but there is nothing about a globe spinning through space with
nope.
a bunch of other planets spinning around the sun. In fact, it
They'll
says
bring
it
up the
says
surface
exactly the
scripture.
opposite. It says exactly the opposite, which is why I have a good time. This is where I say it is important to some people. I try to have fun with it, but I have some Christian friends that will kind of listen. They kind of actually believe that I'm pretty smart. Thank you, Jesus. And so I'll throw some stuff out at them once in a while. And when I told one of them, I said, I think the Earth is flat, and she's like, really? And I said, yeah, I'll send you all the scripture I can on that. And I sent her all the scripture I could on it. It turned out to be like probably 50 verses. If I can find 50 verses that speak more to a flat Earth, but not one to a globe spinning, and I trust in Jesus Christ and the Scripture and and
Yeah,
and God's creation, you go to these pastors and they just get mad. Like you said, they get triggered.
yeah,
They don't want to
triggered.
hear it. They'll kick you off their property. I watched a couple guys that do this, and bless them that they do it. And they're young guys. They look like they're in their 30s or something. Like you, young in 20s. I'm not saying you got to be you're cooler to do it because you're young. It's just what a blessing that they get to know the truth at a young age,
Yeah,
and even me
that's a
knowing
lifetime of fighting,
totally.
like being a warrior.
Yeah,
You know what I
stepping
mean?
out and going against a narrative, not to be mean. They're not mean to these pastors when they do it, but it's the same question I have for so many churches is why are we avoiding certain parts of scripture that speak about what's happening right now? Why are we closing down when the virus happens because every church is a 501c3? They have to go, they're completely controlled. I mean, there are a few churches, a handful out there that aren't now, especially because they're learning what that means. But so few people understand that. They say, I want to start a church. Well, the first thing you have to do is be a 501c3 and you have to be sponsored by this church or that church and you can't just go down and do it on your own. And so they don't. They do
Yeah.
what they're told, and I know that so many people have good intentions. That's not what I'm saying. They're not trying to be evil. They're not trying
Yeah.
to
Absolutely not.
spread
Yeah.
an evil message, but they're not spreading the true message of the scriptures. And then you get people like the Catholics who are like, well, we don't take the Catholics. It is their stance that we don't take the Bible literally, and so they're not going to teach it as literal. I'm like, but some of it, but yet they take the body and the blood of Christ so literally that the priest prays an incantation over the
Yeah.
blood and the bread to make it.
Exactly.
So it's like, how do you
Yeah.
decide what's
Exactly.
literal and what isn't? Well, some book my dad wanted me to read was like, well, some of it's just poetic writing, and he wasn't even talking about David. He was talking about Genesis. He wasn't even talking about the Psalms. He was like, Genesis is more of a poetic, artistic writing. I'm like, oh, come on,
But doesn't that go right back into convenience? Right?
totally
Even
convenient.
in the in the religious context, like it's like you for you to pick and choose when to flip between literal and not, it just it again that goes against our God-given gifts of common sense, which makes things black or white. You know what I mean? Like,
That's exactly
anyway.
right because that's exactly how as I did a video just recently on the on my story about quitting Christmas. I said the truth, about Christmas or whatever, and I gave some instances of why I think it's just something that we shouldn't celebrate the way at all the way it's celebrated, not even have a Christmas tree, whatever. That was my choice though. I didn't say you shouldn't have a Christmas tree.
Right.
I just said this is my story on quitting Christmas. When I told my parents that, my dad was disappointed. He's disappointed that I would share this with anybody and that he just thought I was just totally wrong. But he would be happy, he said, to sit down and discuss this scripturally. But this is a guy that can make scripture justify the Catholic Church. So how am I going to sit down and have a conversation using
Yeah, that's
scripture
hard.
to,
That's
yeah, if he can
oh
justify
my
the
god.
Catholic Church with scripture? So I'm like, well, I think you've made up your mind, and I think we're just going to move on from this subject because I love my parents. I don't want to dishonor them. I don't want to
Yeah.
tell them they're wrong when it's just I got to let them do what they're doing, and I have to do what I'm doing. I think he's more disappointed because he thinks I'm taking away something from my kids. But guess what I'm not doing? I'm not lying. I'm not saying
You're not lying.
Santa Claus is bringing
I was just
presents.
about to say you're not lying. That's the most important thing, truth. Like when you the amount of things that you can do with truth, right? It's just like in a any relationship, professional, business, you know, romantic. If someone's dishonest with you on the other side, I mean, you're very vulnerable, and you may not know. You may know, you may not know. But like, and that's why I take this stuff so serious, because when you surrender that will, like, the news can tell you anything, or the science community can tell you anything. It gets to a point where even your pastor can tell you anything. And you won't know if he's, like an agent or not. Like, and these things are very real. These things are very, very real, based on intel that I had conversations just last night. I mean, I had conversations last night that really I will carry for the rest of my life. And I don't think it's any like these things are not coincidental. Even us having this conversation right now, all of this when you combine it, I really get this really strong sense of a new earth in this world, like in the sense that like all the ugliness and the like. I remember one time my sister said to me, this or I didn't really expect her to say this, but the world has to purge it she's pretty religious. She's like, this is God's doing. And I was very curious about what she meant by that. And then she put it in a very beautiful, simple way. She's like, she gets a lot of flack for like letting my nephew like go all crazy and wild out and stuff like that. But she's like, there's sometimes where he's full of energy, and for you to just keep like slapping his hand or like trying to discourage him from just letting it all out,
Yeah.
she'll just like let it out. And by the time he's done, he's tired, which is very rare. Like my nephew doesn't really get tired, but like that's just how like deliberately intent she has to be on just letting him like let it out, because he'll go on and on and on and on. And if you try to like slow him down, that's just him recharging.
Right.
So once he's done by like the evening time, like, and he's just tired, he's like, "Mommy, I want to eat," or "Mommy, like, like, I need some water, I want to go to sleep." Like, that's just allowing the reset. And then, just building back up to, but if we're gonna carry this any semblance of the past into this new world. I know this sounds kind of like ominous a little bit, but it's truly what it is. Like this new transparency, we're really gonna have to like be very deliberate with transparency and honesty. So to go back to the whole Christmas thing, it's blatantly pagan. Like I mean, like anyone can just like we can research for 10 minutes and get to that
Mm,
conclusion if we never
I
had this
agree with
conversation.
that. Yep.
You know, but again, it's the media, it's science, the pseudoscience, like really encouraging each other. Like think for yourself. Like that voice in your head. It's some crazy guy, like some crazy little minion. It's not. It's a little dose of God. I truly believe that God is in each and every one of us. It's that don't do that. You know that it's gonna hurt you. You know it's gonna hurt that person. You know that it's gonna,
Right.
mess you up. So just don't do it. It's there, and the media, the constant conditioning. I mean, to the point where it gets us to rile up and take offense to things, right? When that's not truly what we want to do, right? We just want to love each other. Like that's the devil. That's just literally the devil. Like, you know what I mean? These people I'm telling you, I know I probably said this several times already with you. These people got to go. And I'm not really for a death penalty like that, man, but they got to go. They got to go somewhere because that is the biggest crime to me is the manipulation in the media. That's
Absolutely.
by far,
It's
destroying relationships, destroying marriages. Like,
yep. And
anyway,
yeah, just speaking so many lies. But okay, so we've gone an hour. I am having a friend over for dinner at 6. I
okay.
still have to bake for an hour, so I don't think you'll mind if we
Absolutely not. It's
cut it
fine.
short. But before you go, the exciting thing is I have another. Oops, I didn't do. That's not what I wanted to do. I have another membership raffle to do. Do you mind hanging out for that and like
Well,
seeing
let's
who
do it.
wins?
Let's do it.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah,
What am
let's
I
do it. I'm
sharing?
gonna. I'm still listening. I'm gonna go grab something from.
Yes, you're allowed to run off and grab things. So, oh yes, okay. So, if anyone is not aware, we have been doing membership raffles, and we being me and my friend Brenda, but Brenda's behind the scenes because she's just been a part of it behind the scenes. But this is the third one and the last one for a while. I don't know if and when we'll be doing another one, but this was for a membership to the 7K metals gold and silver business that we were just talking about. So
Mhm.
the membership, as Kevon knows, is either 199 to start or 499 to start. Whoever wins this can start at 199 and they're not going to pay a dime because they bought spots. Well, they paid $10 a spot or $20, however many spots they bought, but they don't have to pay more than that. They can just sign up because they're going to win $199 because a very lovely lady donated $100 to this raffle, and the other 100 is covered by the $10 a spot here. So that gives somebody the ability to sign up at 199. But I recommend if you're able to, and it doesn't matter if you're able to or not, but it matters if you're not able to, don't try. If you are able to, though, I recommend signing up at the 499 because then you get more silver, you get business cards, you get these wealth strategy books that just show you how to talk to people, pays for your monthly internet fees, and all this training and everything, 1 year membership, everything that you get with that is just of a greater value. However, not necessary because you can still buy at the best price. You still get the training and you still get one piece of silver. So at 199. So whoever wins, they need to get a hold of me because I don't know everybody that well that's on the list here, but I know a few of you pretty well. So if you're a winner, you got to get in on this pretty quickly. We're going to get you, if I'm going to send money to somebody, I expect they're going to sign up right away. So I'm just throwing that out there. And Kevon was the last winner of this. So here we go. We're going to draw the next winner. There's the 10 spots. And we're going to generate a random number. Number 4 is Rebecca. Oh, she's going to be
Wow.
thrilled. She's going to be
Wow.
really thrilled.
Congrats to her.
She's going to be very excited because I talked to her for quite a while on the phone the other day. So I have her number. So this is going to be easy. I'll be able to get a hold of her. and get her started. So congrats to Rebecca, and I don't think she's here, but I'll let her know. And congrats to Kevon, and also congrats to the first person that won, who goes by Grateful. Oh, I'm sorry, usernames, they just get me. So I can't remember the username, but anyway, I won't share everybody's real name. So anything you want, any last thoughts you want to throw out for the
No,
world? And
I just want to say super congrats to Rebecca, because I mean this is like uh, just, just so phenomenally like first of all, thank you. What was her name? Who did the?
Brent,
Was it Grace? Brenda?
Brenda,
Brenda.
Brenda donated to this.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And also, again, guys, offense. Let's just try to not take offense to things. Like, I mean, like if hopefully this goes far and wide. Like, please,
Amen to that.
like seriously,
Yep,
that's
Offense
it.
is the Bait of Satan, and that is a great book, The Bait of Satan. If any
Thank
Christian or non-Christian wants to read it, because I saw myself in it, and maybe you don't see yourself in it, but it does a great job of pointing out how you can let these things go, even when people mean to offend you. Because you said sometimes,
Mhm.
maybe they don't mean to, and you don't know, but even when they do mean to hurt you, this
Yeah.
book does a great job of saying this is how you move past it, and don't let it be a stronghold in your life because it will suck you down and poison your whole
Mhm.
existence. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know that gave me a segment idea, like for about offense and stuff like that. That's something that I think we'll talk about. My girlfriend and I on our
Good.
series, our new series.
Well, then keep us updated when it gets started. Now,
Yeah.
I put up your website for 7K Metals as QUECAS.
Oh no, 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 no.
That's not
So
it. Oh, okay,
no,
don't go to
no,
that. What is it?
no, don't go to that, guys. So it's KE. I use my
Okay.
stage name. So
Sorry.
and honestly, I don't know if I texted to you. So hold on,
You
I'm just gonna
probably
log
did.
in.
So it's K
Yeah,
E
yeah.
C A.
KECASSELLS.
Okay, my bad. So the one I sent out
No,
earlier, just disregard, and the one I have up, I'll just take it down. I'll
hold
fix
on.
it in the
Yeah. So and
wherever
then I'll
the
text it to
description
you
box.
again, just in case I just happen to not do
It's
it, just so.
good to remind me. It's good to
Yeah.
remind me.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, well, with that, I'll say goodnight and tell everybody
Good night.
else goodnight, and we'll be back on. See, I'm going live again on the 12th with Phil Baker and BDK, and on the 13th with World Bigfoot Radio. We're going to have a Bigfoot birthday bash, so you don't want to miss that. It's going to be fun. All right.
Cool.
See you later.
All right. Take care. Enjoy your dinner.
I will, I think. Praise Jesus. Okay, guys. Well, with that, I'm going to end this segment, and I appreciate all of you being here. I appreciate the many people that support this channel. I am so blessed that you support it. Thank you to Patreons. Thank you for people who get in on the membership raffles. Thank you for people who get on the gold and silver raffles because that actually helps other people get gold and silver in their hands. So I appreciate you guys so much. Have a blessed and blessed and blessed, blessed, blessed night. Peace.